This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Man killed in fiery crash during car race. Police say a man was killed in a motor vehicle crash and 2 other people were injured during a street race last night on the Horton Main Road in Lacovia, St. Elizabeth. The police named the deceased as 51-year-old Anthony Diaz. Reports are that about 11:40 p.m., Diaz was participating in a street race along with 2 occupants in a Nissan Sunny motor car. He lost control of the vehicle and crashed into a ackee tree. The car burst into flames. The 2 occupants were taken from the motor car and rushed to the hospital, where they have been admitted in serious but stable condition. Firefighters were called in to extinguish the blaze. Diaz's charred remains were later removed from the vehicle. MPs allocated $1 million each to assist the needy constituents with housing needs. The government has allocated $1 million to each of the 63 members of parliament to support resilience building efforts in constituencies across Jamaica. Minister of Housing, Urban Renewal, Environment and Climate Change Pernell Charles Jr. made the announcement during a ministerial statement in the House of Representatives on November 30. He said that the ministry will be working with all members of parliament to identify those households at the greatest risk. The ministry will provide directions and support for the initiative, and I implore colleagues on both sides of the House to submit the requested information at the soonest and no later than February 2022, Charles Jr. said, while noting that building resilience is key in ensuring housing stability, particularly for vulnerable persons. The minister also noted that climate-related disasters have been the primary drivers of internal displacement over the past decade. Just earlier this month, the downpour in St. James forced many families to leave their houses, consequent to the devastating flooding. Undoubtedly, we must prioritize resilience building while we seek to mitigate the inevitable, he said. Continuing, he said, I simply cannot tackle the right for housing without speaking about the implications of climate change. As climate change intensifies, housing stability will be increasingly under threat. Housing is the primary determinant of people's financial security and well-being, and while the impacts of climate change are felt in every sphere of our lives, whether directly or indirectly, our housing sector, for obvious reasons, is especially vulnerable. Charles Jr. told his colleagues that this vulnerability is pronounced for those persons in the low-income bracket and those residing in informal settlements who often live in substandard housing. This is exacerbated when we build on hillsides, along gully banks, and in river courses. Parliament will recall, for example, the significant impact of tropical storms Zeta and Eta in late October 2020. In the Shooters Hill area, 74% of the residents surveyed suffered damage to their houses, ranging from major to catastrophic, while in Wise Road, 31% of those surveyed described the damage suffered as catastrophic, the minister shared. Removal of Queen cannot wait on full constitutional review, says Patterson. Former Prime Minister P.J. Patterson says removal of the Queen as head of state cannot wait on a full review of the Constitution. Mr. Patterson has written to Prime Minister Andrew Holness and the leader of the opposition, Mark Golding, urging them to swiftly begin the process for the removal of the Queen as Jamaica prepares to celebrate its 60th year of independence. Speaking with the news on Friday, Mr. Patterson was asked whether it would not be better if the leaders use the opportunity to initiate comprehensive constitutional review, with the installation of a local head of state being part of that process. He said such a review could take up to 2 years, and Jamaica cannot afford to wait that long to end its relationship with the British monarchy.
We have to have a head of state during that year of the Jubilee, which reflects our own image and which would enable every Jamaican to aspire in reaching the highest position within our native land. The other constitutional amendments are far-reaching. Some have been the subject of very clear recommendations. Some still need further political clearance. And we can't afford to wait forever. 50 years is long enough. We don't have to wait until that to move with what we are already agreed on. We have a habit of making perfection the enemy of the good. All that does is cause undue delay. I'd be quite satisfied if by then it has been taken through all the stages of the legislature, and the only thing that remained was a referendum. If both parties go out to campaign for a yes vote, I doubt that the prospect of those who vote no would be successful.
50-year-old identified as shooter in deadly gun battle with a cop. Police have identified the reported shooter in the gun battle that has also left a policeman dead in Manchester on Friday. He has been identified as a 50-year-old Eric Miller, otherwise called the burglar, of Somerset District, Manchester. The police who was shot and killed is 53-year-old Dwight Gregory of Miketown, Manchester. He was attached to the Manchester Division. An investigation is underway in Hatfield, Manchester, following the discovery of the bodies of two men, one of them a district constable, outside a sports bar in the community on Friday, December 3. Investigators assigned to the Mandeville Criminal Investigations Branch say the bodies of both men were discovered about 10 p.m. on an embankment near the establishment. Both men had been shot. 2 firearms were seized at the scene, an illegal Springfield Smith & Wesson pistol fitted with a magazine containing 12 9mm rounds of ammunition and a Smith & Wesson revolver containing 4 rounds of ammunition. Meanwhile, as the force once again mourns the violent and sudden loss of one of its members, the High Command is expressing condolences to the family of District Constable Gregory. The High Command is also encouraging members to avail themselves of the services available through the Chaplaincy Services Branch and the Medical Services Branch as they continue to serve the people of Jamaica while coping with this tragic news. Teams from the Chaplaincy Services Branch as well as the Community Safety and Security Branch are assisting the family as is customary, but they are also on hand to support you, the members, in this difficult time, the High Command said. Thugs battle for power since Dogpaw's death. Residents of Kintyre in St. Andrews say that they are afraid to walk the streets following the killing of Darren Percy Cousins, a known affiliate of Christopher Dogpaw Linton, on Monday. Another man, Michael Clue, otherwise called Ducky, was killed the following day in what police surmise was a reprisal. I have not gone outside all week. We don't know what is going to happen next. These men are operating as if they are playing out scenes in a movie, said one resident. Head of the St. Andrews Central Police Division, Senior Superintendent Marlon Nesbeth, said the police are doing everything in their power to restore order. He reiterated the need for citizens to come forward with information, noting some of the incidents happen in plain sight of some people. It is not a trust factor because police at various levels reached out, including myself, so it is not a fear factor. Some of them are just connected to what is happening in the area too, so they don't want to support certain police endeavors, said Nesbeth. He told the news that the flare-up is between remnants of the Dogpaw gang, which Linton reportedly led, and individuals aspiring for leadership. Following Dogpaw's demise, there is now some ruffling for control in the backroad space, he said. There were always persons who wanted to have their own exercise and all types of power, but Dogpaw being the man he was, and they were afraid of him, they wouldn't push up. But now that he is out, they are pushing up. Nesbeth said that the police are appealing to a man by the name of Ramon Mothersill, who they say is a person of interest in Cousins' killing. He also said that the police will step up their operations in the area in the next few days. Despite the recent shootings, police statistics show that up to November 27, the division has seen an 11.4% reduction in murders. The division has recorded 78 murders compared to 88 for the corresponding period in 2020. Jamaica has so far recorded 1,315 murders between January 1 and November 27. 52 new COVID cases in Jamaica, one more death reported. The Ministry of Health and Wellness reported 52 new COVID-19 cases and one death on Friday, December 3, bringing the infection total to 91,421 and the total deaths to 2,407. The new cases comprise 34 females and 17 males with ages ranging from 10 months to 95 years. One case is under investigation. The cases were recorded in Kingston and St. Andrew 22, St. James 14, Clarendon 6, St. Anne 3, Manchester and St. Catherine 2 each, St. Elizabeth 1, St. Thomas 1, and Westmoreland 1. The deceased is a 70-year-old female from St. Thomas. In the meantime, 77 more people recovered in the last 24 hours, bringing total recoveries to 62,824. Currently, 126 people are hospitalized, 17 of which are severely ill, while 9 are critically ill and 17 are moderately ill. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.